You're listening to the WBT Podcast with Michael Lodge. Listen to all of our podcasts at www.wbtpod.com. Stay informed. Let's get started.
This is brought to you by Lodge & Co., a business and tax advisory firm where your success is our goal. Call us today toll-free at 888-681-1518 or visit us at www.lodge-co.com and learn more about what we can do for you. Lodge & Co., your source for sound business and tax services.
And hello, this is Michael Lodge. I'm glad that you're with me. I tell you, I'm here in Los Angeles, and it has been raining cats and dogs. I mean, it has been pouring down, and then misting, and then pouring down some more. It has been an amazing time. I tell you, I've never seen so much rain for so long in Los Angeles. Now, I live in South Carolina, so we're used to the rain. I mean, it comes down every single day almost. But here in Los Angeles, they're just not used to the rain. But it's good, because now I'm telling you, everything is so beautifully green because of the rain. So before President Trump's State of the Nation tonight, I thought you and I should probably come and talk so that we understand exactly what's been going on and what the president has had to deal with. Now, you and I, in business, when we go and we talk to individuals about getting things done or buying something or doing something, there is an offer on the table. When we go to buy a house, there's an offer on the table. Now, you don't ignore the offer. You sit down and you negotiate. And you may go back and forth several times before finally you come to that final offer that everybody is okay with. And then the deal is done. It goes through escrow, it goes to the title company, and then finally at the very end, and in fact it even goes through a little bit more with people coming out and looking at your home. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that happen. But people are working at it all the time until finally the deal is done. That's how you and I, as Americans and human beings, that's how we do our business. Now, in Washington, D.C., that hasn't happened. So the president came, put an offer on the table. Said, listen, Democrats and Republicans, this is what I think should happen. So here's my deal. I want you to consider it. So instead of sitting down and start the negotiations, all that you hear is, no, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that. But they don't sit down and do it. They go out to the media and they begin pounding back on everything that they hate about the president. So, and here's the deal. The offer's on the table, but no one comes to the table. So we have a bunch of politicians who want to play politics, but they don't want to get anything done for the American people. Here are politicians who for years and years have been talking about DACA people. They have used them in every single campaign, but when it comes time to negotiate with the president on DACA, they reject it. So we have a immigration system that is totally stupid. It's an idiotic system. I know. I have been there. At one point in time, I had a staffing group where we brought people over from other countries to work here. That was way, way back in the time where we didn't have enough people here. And the whole system is crooked because you can adjust any kind of paper, any kind of report, anything just to get that individual over here. I know what the attorneys do out there. It's a crooked system. And it happens every single day. and it needs to be fixed. But when you have people that don't want to come to the table and fix the situation, then you have people who really should not be in their jobs because they don't know what they're doing except play politics. Think about it. I mean, it's such an easy thought process that when you and I put out an offer, people come back to us and sit down at the table and we hammer the thing out until finally we close the deal. But in Washington, D.C., they just play politics and they spout words that have nothing to do with the situation of what's on the table. I tell you, I often wonder who would even want to run for the office of president when you have such hate in government. And that's truly what it is. It's hate in government. We have currently a group of far, far left politicians who do not want to do anything for the American people, but they will only do legislation or whatever the law takes to keep their power. That's what it's all about with the politicians. How do they keep their power? And the problem that I see is that the Democrats are failing the American people. They say they're for the people, but they're not for the people. They say they're the People's Party, but they're not. They have demonstrated it over the last few weeks when you have an offer on the table and they don't even want to sit down and talk. To me, that's a childish situation that we have. If you have politicians that don't want to work for the American people and help the American people, protect the American people, make the American people better, then we have the wrong people in politics. If they're so concerned about their political agendas of social economic change, where the government is in control of everything that you do, those people should not be in politics. We have a real problem. We have a capital, and there are people in that capital who are out of control. It's a sad situation. So, before the State of the Union, understand that there's an offer on the table that has been totally ignored by the political socialist left. They refuse to negotiate. They refuse to work for the American people. They seem to forget that they work for the American people. They do not work for themselves. They do not work for a party. They work for the needs of the American people. But they don't care. Because they have this political agenda that is so corrupt that it is not helping the American people. So what do? Well, we speak out. And you have to speak out. Tonight, the American people is going to hear from the President of the United States. And he once again is going to lay out his agenda of what he needs to happen for the American people. That's what his job is as president. To have a plan of action to help the American people. And if you have people who are in that audience who refuse to negotiate, then we have the wrong people in that audience. We as the American people made a bad choice in putting those people there. So here we go again. So before you listen to the state of the nation, understand that nothing is being done by a political party who wants to put hate before the love of the American people or the needs of the American people. There's an offer on the table, And if they continue to refuse to negotiate or sit down with the president like adults, then those individuals are the wrong people to be in their jobs and representing us. I really feel, and I've said this so many times before, that we're right back at the point where America was just starting, where we had taxation without representation. Remember why so many people came from Europe and over the ocean and over the seas and coming here to start a new country where they would be free from taxation. They would be free from religious persecution. We're right back at that point in America at this very moment in time where we have taxation without representation. We have politicians who no longer represent the American people. Instead, they represent a party. You remember, in socialist and communist countries, that is the political thought of representing their party, the Communist Party or the Socialist Party, and they put their needs before the American people. And that's the direction where we are going to right now. Taxation without representation. So before tonight's address by President Trump, remember, there is a deal on the table, and the politicians refuse to sit at the table. If you have any questions, send me an email at mlodge@lodge-co.com, and I'll be more than happy to talk about this. This is a ethical question of why we have politicians that are not representing us. I'll talk with you soon. This is Mike Lodge for the WBT Podcasting Network. I'll talk with you soon.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.